This is tutorial 4-3, continues right after 4-2. We're going to be working in ArcMap rather than ArcCatalog this time. So open up your ArcMap and add all your files from your newly made Maricopa County Files geodatabase. This is what it should look like after the your turn. It doesn't have to look exactly like this. We're just going to be working with attribute tables in this tutorial. And that's exactly what this tutorial is about, is modifying attribute tables. The first thing they're going to have us do is delete columns that aren't necessary. Be warned, once you delete an attribute table column, it's gone for good. So if you're ever working with a crowded attribute table and there's a lot of things you don't need, but you're not sure if you should delete them or not, but you want to get rid of them, just open up the properties, go to fields, and you can turn them off and they won't show up in the attribute table. This is always a safe way to do things, because if you delete it, there's no way of getting it back. You have to download or find the shapefile again, which can be quite difficult for some things, especially if it's a uniquely made one from like a GPS or something. So with that said, we're going to go up to the attribute tables for tracks, and what they want us to do is first look at STFID, look at the number that's associated with it. If you look at these two columns, if you just combine these two numbers, this is what you get. So they want us to get rid of ID, this column, and this column. So just right click on the field and just delete. You can also turn fields off in here. There will be a warning that'll pop up saying, "Are you sure?" Just click yes. Do this slowly, because if you work too fast, you might delete a field you didn't intend to. Okay. There's a your turn where they want you to do something similar in the cities. Feel free to go ahead and do that. When you're done, just come back to this table and once again look at the STFID number. We're going to open up the census tract data field attribute table now, and in previous versions of ArcMap you used to be able to have two tables open at the same time. You could put them either next to each other or above each other and compare them. You can't do that anymore in 10, but both of them are still open. There's these little tabs on the bottom that you can switch back and forth, and you can also, so what they want you to do is compare this field with the geo ID. If you start with the 8th number or the 8th character and go over, it's the same number as the STFID. There's just 7 characters in front of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a field that gets rid of those 7 characters. And the reason we're doing that is later on we're going to learn how to join tables to a shapefile, and that's how we're going to do it. So we're going to click on the options. We're going to add a field. They want us to call it a STFID, all caps is good, and change it to a text. And change the length to 11. The reason we're doing this is sometimes if the number is longer, they'll fill it in with zeros. We don't want that to happen. So we're just going to click OK. And all new fields are sent to the end of the attribute table, so that's where you're going to find it. As you can see, there's all these nulls. That's because we haven't assigned what this field's supposed to show. To do that, we right click and go to field calculator. Now in here we're going to change the type from number to string, and we're going to use the mid function. Now the mid function means that we're going to use a field, but we're going to start somewhere in the middle of it. And the field we're interested in is GeoID, so we're just going to double click that. We're going to put a comma, and we want to start at the 8th character, so we're going to put an 8 there. And we want this number that's going into STFID to be 11 characters long. So we're just going to type in an 11 there. So it's starting at the 8th number, which is about in the middle, and then going 11 characters long. Once that's done, we're just going to click OK. Now, it went pretty quick because we only have a few things in here, only 663. If you have a attribute table with thousands, like 10,000 things in it, it can take quite a while to use Field Calculator. So always have that known. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a new column, and it's going to show something different. We just used it to modify a number. What we're going to do now is create a whole new meaning. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to options and add a field, and this is the name they want us to give it. And what this field's going to do is it's going to show the ratio of Native American income with white income, and the type should be float. Then we're going to click OK. Now we're going to go select by attribute, and in here what we're going to do is go down and we're going to find PC income for whites. Then we're going to use the greater than, get unique values, and choose 0. You could have typed in 0, both would have worked. And as you can see, it chose 658 out of the 668. Now, I'll explain why we did that when we do the field calculator. The first thing you want to do is clear. We want everything to be empty. And in here, what we're going to do is we're going to go up in the fields, and we're going to first choose PC income for Native Americans, and we're going to divide it by the PC income of whites. Now, the reason we did the select by attributes and had the income for whites greater than 0 is because you cannot divide a number by 0. So we would have had an error right off the bat. So for those columns where white income is 0, there'll be a null rather than an error. So that's why we did the select by attribute. With that done, we're going to click OK. And now wherever there's a number greater than 1, Native Americans make more than whites for income. And if you right click, you can do a descending order. As you can see, there are a few sections where they do, but there are probably a lot more where they don't. And then there's all these zeros then the ones where whites had no income, so we could not do that one. And when that's done, you just go up here and clear selection and unselects everything. So we're going to close the tracks. They want you to go in and do pretty much the same thing for Hispanics divided by white income. Once you're done with that, though, we're done with this tutorial, and that's it.